Imagine this. We wake up one ordinary morning, the world is just as it always is, and then without any warning, the temperature across the entire planet drops by 100 degrees. Instantly. Not just in one place, not in one hemisphere, everywhere. From the scorching deserts of Africa to the tropical rainforests of South America, from the streets of New York to the beaches of Australia, the air around us plunges into a level of cold none of us have ever felt before. And it's going to stay that way for 5 full minutes. Sounds like a sci-fi movie, right? But let's try something. Let's live this moment step by step, minute by minute, and see exactly how those 5 minutes would unfold. And how they change everything we know about our planet, our lives, and ourselves. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to IfVerse for more mind-bending scenarios, and let us know in the comments what crazy, what if you want us to explore next. It happens in seconds. We're going about our normal lives, checking our phones, making coffee, walking the dog, when suddenly the air feels wrong. The wind bites, our breath catches. The temperature isn't just falling, it's crashing. From a comfortable 20 degrees to 80 degrees or lower in less than a minute. That's colder than the South Pole in winter. Colder than Mars. The first thing we notice is how sharp the air feels. It stings like needles against our skin. The moisture in the air freezes almost instantly, forming tiny crystals that sparkle in the light. Our breath becomes a visible cloud, and with each inhale, the air feels heavier, more difficult to draw in. Even the moisture in our noses and throats starts to crystallize. Metal railings, door handles, and street signs frost over in seconds. Cars screech to a halt as engines seize. Trains stop dead on frozen tracks. Planes mid-flight start to feel turbulence as air density changes abruptly. Within moments, the modern world starts to freeze. We rush indoors, instinctively seeking shelter. Inside, the temperature is dropping too. Insulation helps, but not enough to stop the sudden invasion of cold. Windows fog over and then frost entirely. Pipes contract and groan. Condensation on surfaces turns to thin sheets of ice. We notice strange things happening. Our phones and tablets dim and slow down. Batteries drain faster in the cold. Car windows crack from thermal shock. Thin layers of ice form even on our clothes. And every breath we exhale freezes into tiny flakes that drift to the ground. Animals react instinctively. Birds take shelter en masse. Mammals retreat to burrows. Insects become still. Even plants show signs of stress. Leaves stiffen and crackle with frost. The earth itself begins to respond. The atmosphere contracts slightly as the cold densifies it, altering wind patterns almost immediately. Sudden bursts of icy wind tear through cities and forests. Clouds rapidly form where there were none just minutes before. Bodies of water begin to react too. Lakes and rivers near the surface start to freeze. Waves on the ocean's surface stiffen into slow-moving slush. Even shallow coastal waters show thin sheets of forming ice, not thick enough to walk on, but enough to stun aquatic life near the top. We might think 5 minutes isn't long enough for drastic changes, but temperature isn't just about comfort. It's about balance. And we're watching that balance unravel in real time. Modern infrastructure wasn't built for this. Power plants, pipelines, and water systems start to struggle. Electrical grids draw massive amounts of energy as heating systems attempt to compensate. In some regions, power lines snap from thermal stress. In others, transformers overload and fail. Transportation halts almost everywhere. Cars no longer start. Trains stop. Aircraft in the sky divert desperately, and some even attempt emergency landings as extreme temperature changes affect fuel systems and sensors. And communication, it slows too. Some cell towers shut down as equipment freezes. Satellites in low Earth orbit experience minor thermal stress as they pass through drastically colder atmospheric layers. The global network, so invisible in our daily lives, shows its fragility in less than 180 seconds. This is the point where nature itself goes into shock. Forests once green and alive are now ghostly white. Trees crack as sap inside them freezes. Flowers collapse. Entire ecosystems fall into a strange, suspended state. Animals are disoriented. Some burrow deeper into the ground. Birds, caught mid-migration, fall out of the sky as their bodies can't adjust fast enough. Fish swim deeper into warmer layers of water, but many near the surface are stunned. Agriculture, the foundation of human survival, is hit hard. Vast fields of crops flash freeze. It's not total devastation, but the damage is enough to ruin harvests across continents. And we're still only 4 minutes into the event. By now, panic and adaptation coexist. Some of us huddle together indoors, wrapping ourselves in layers of blankets and clothing. Others rush to protect loved ones, livestock, or vital infrastructure. Emergency services are stretched thin. Governments broadcast warnings and instructions. Social media becomes a global lifeline. People share their experiences, their fears, and their attempts to stay safe. We're not just individuals anymore. We're a species united by a single shared event. And in a strange way, that realization brings a sense of perspective. For once, every human being on Earth is facing the same challenge at the same time. And then, it stops. The temperature reaches its lowest point. The air feels like a solid wall, unbreathable and alien. The world is utterly still. For a few seconds, everything is frozen. Not just physically, but metaphorically. Our machines, our schedules, our routines, all on pause. And then, as quickly as it began, the cold stops falling. It doesn't rise yet, but it stops getting worse. And in that silence, humanity holds its breath. The temperature starts to climb, slowly, hesitantly. At first, we don't even notice. Frost still coats the ground. Cars remain still. The air still burns our lungs. But the numbers on thermometers creep upward. 80, 70, 60. We step outside cautiously. The sky looks different, clearer, sharper, almost brittle. Ice crystals float in the air like glitter. The once busy sounds of the city are replaced by an eerie quiet. Even the smallest movements, a branch swaying, a distant dog barking, feel monumental. The world isn't the same as it was 5 minutes ago. Roads are glassy and impassable. Pipes have burst. Power grids are unstable. Crops are ruined. Ecosystems are in chaos. We start to realize how interconnected everything is. A sudden temperature shock has broken links we didn't even know existed. Factories stop because supply chains are frozen. Literally. Shops close because deliveries can't get through. Air travel remains grounded as engineers inspect every piece of equipment for damage. Even though the cold only lasted 5 minutes, its effects ripple through society for days, weeks, even months. Governments organize emergency food programs as harvests are lost. Economies wobble as shipping slows and production halts. Insurance companies scramble to calculate the cost of damage. And then there's the psychological impact. We've experienced something that no generation before us ever has. It's a collective memory that reshapes our priorities. Suddenly, climate adaptation isn't just a debate. It's a necessity. Cities begin designing infrastructure for extreme conditions. Power grids are reinforced. Research into atmospheric science explodes. Our relationship with nature changes too. We start to respect the balance of our planet in a way we hadn't before. We realize that the difference between life and chaos can be measured in a few degrees. Scientists begin to notice subtle but important changes. Ocean currents shift slightly due to temporary temperature imbalances. Jet streams wobble, altering weather patterns in unexpected ways. Some regions experience heavier rainfall, others long dry spells. Animal migration patterns change. Some species move to new territories in search of stability. Others thrive unexpectedly in altered ecosystems. Plant life adapts too, some becoming more resilient to cold snaps. Even human culture changes. Literature, art, and politics begin referencing the freeze, as it's now called. Generations to come will speak of those 5 minutes as a turning point, a moment when humanity understood its fragility and its resilience. Looking back, we realize something profound. 5 minutes was enough to show us how delicate our world truly is. We often think of Earth as invincible, a giant rock that's been here forever and will be here forever. But in reality, everything we depend on, our food, our technology, our cities, our comfort, exists within a narrow band of temperature. Shift that balance and everything changes. we also learn about ourselves. Despite the chaos, despite the fear, we adapted. We found warmth, shared resources, helped neighbors, and stayed connected. We proved that even when nature throws us into the most extreme conditions imaginable, we're capable of incredible resilience. And maybe, just maybe, we learned to take better care of this planet, because we now understand how easily its systems can be pushed. So, what if the temperature on Earth dropped by 100 degrees for just 5 minutes? We would witness nature's power in its rawest form. We'd see the limits of our technology, the vulnerability of our infrastructure, and the strength of our communities. We'd experience fear, awe, and ultimately, humility. And maybe that's the real lesson here. Our world is a finely tuned system, a delicate balance that gives us everything we need to survive. The more we understand that balance, the better we can protect it, and the better we can protect ourselves. Now we want to hear from you. What would you do if you knew this global temperature crash was coming tomorrow? Would you prepare? Would you panic? Or would you just watch the sky and see what happens? Tell us in the comments below. And if this journey through What If blew your mind, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to IfVerse for more scenarios that challenge the way we see our world. Because the universe is full of impossible questions, and together we're going to answer them.